You are listening to the On the Blue Line podcast, covering the National Hockey League and more hockey news. Here are your hosts now, Phil Bernardi and Chad Van Doorzen. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the On the Blue Line hockey podcast. My name is Phil Bernardi and my partner Chad Van Doorzen would be here, but he is sick today, and he did not want me to get sick, and I totally agree with that. Thank you, Chad. Now, we have had some craziness in the playoffs, and I gotta tell you what, Pittsburgh's now up 3-1 after the hugely covered Sidney Crosby concussion laid on him by Matt Niskanen. To me, it was looking like a typical hockey play, except Sidney Crosby, slipped. He toe dragged and then fell on the ground. And as he was falling, he fell, into Matt Niskanen, who was, trying to keep, with his defenseman. You want to stay with your guy, especially when somebody's toe dragging in the crease. You can't be admiring your passes or your plays. You got to be paying attention to who's on the ice at all times, especially when you have a history of concussions. Now, Pittsburgh leading 3-1. They won not last night, but 2 nights ago. Today is Cinco de Mayo. For those that don't know, it is a nice holiday. A lot of us enjoy it. So now, we have the Rangers winning last night 4-1 over the Ottawa Senators to tie up the series 2-2. Now, Ottawa was leading the series 2-0, leaving the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa. Now at MSG, the Rangers have won 2 in a row, and now it's the best of 3. It is looking like it's going to be a heck of a series, folks. Heck of a series. I mean, I don't know what's been going on with Ottawa up in New York. They've been playing lights out in Ottawa, and then once they get to MSG, it's like, oh my goodness, it's a big stage, huh? But who knows? And then we got the Ducks and the Oilers. They're tied. Neither home team in that series has won a game. Edmonton taking the first 2 at Anaheim, and now Anaheim taking the next 2 at Edmonton. Anaheim has just turned it on with their superstars Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaf. Ryan Kessler's coming up big for them. Edmonton's still playing their game. It's just some bounces haven't gone their way. Game 4 was not very kind to them. They play tonight, May 5th at 9:30, 8:30 Eastern Time. And then also the other game tonight is Nashville and St. Louis, which is Nashville's up 3-1, but this game is on NBCSN as well at 7 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern. I just had to get the correct, didn't want to give you guys the wrong information. We are on jedcastradio.com, WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, WJOB1230.com. Supplying the region with all its hockey needs. Also on Facebook at On the Blue Line. We're at Twitter at Blue Line Podcast. And you can also follow us on Instagram at On the Blue Line Podcast 0. So, I just got to say, some of these teams it amazes me how they've been able to get so fangled up. I just don't know. I can't even find a word for it. It looks like Pittsburgh might close it out tomorrow, Saturday, May 6th, And then it looks like Nashville might close it out tonight, May 5th. Oh, there's an ambulance in the background. These are good microphones, folks. Picks up everything, including me talking away from it. So, Phil, what do you think's going to happen tonight in Edmonton? Oh, I don't know. I think the Oilers are going to win it. Oh, that's my prediction for tonight, May 5th. I think the Oilers are going to win Game 5 in Anaheim. Holy moly. Macaroni. So I just got to say, the Oilers winning, it's going to be a gritty game. And Zach Cassian, he's going to show up tonight, going to show up big. He's going to make a couple people look like a couple diddlers out there. He's got to just go out and just hit at everything that's moving. Same with Lucic. Lucic had a big game four. Big game four. Took out Kasha. I mean, with a bad cross check. But he took him out in the first period. Then Anaheim was a man down the entire game. Then he had steamrolled, I think it was Wagner in the corner. And then another defenseman, he just leveled like a Mack truck, hitting a deer on the side of the road. Oof. We're too used to that in Indiana, folks. And for Nashville, Pekarine's been coming up big, but I think their forwards are just going to chip in some goals finally. I think their forwards are going to hit it big, like Forsberg, Arvidsson. These guys, these Swedes are very gritty and dependable players. Marcus Kruger was like that. The thing is, Allen could be coming up big. Excuse me, folks. Allen could come up huge tonight, and that'll be bad news for Nashville if they can't get any shots on net. Even if they do, they'll be easy shots for Allen to stop because they'll be able to see him. The thing is, he's got to just control his rebounds. Rene does a good job of controlling his rebounds. He just got to stop flailing around sometimes. And then on the Washington side, Holtby, some of the goals he's been giving up has just been wackadoo crazy. Like, come on, man. You're better than that. You can do a lot better than that. But at the same time, there's been some skilled shot by the Penguins. And then Marc-Andre Fleury's been playing lights out. I mean, if the Penguins win the Stanley Cup, he's winning the Conn Smythe. Coming in relief for Matt Murray, who is injured in warm-ups. I mean, that's like some sudden news. But, Fleury's handled it like the old pro he is. Ottawa, Anderson, my buddy, man, he's got to pick it up. He didn't get some help. He didn't get some help the past two games up in MSG. Madison Square Garden in New York. But Lundqvist has been coming up huge the entire series for the Rangers. The Rangers just have finally been able to get some defense going and then get some goal production. Winning 5-2 in Game 3 and then 4-1 last night in Game 4. Like I said, we're recording this in the morning of May 5th, 2017. I am happy that the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference Finals are on the horizon, which means it's closer to the Stanley Cup. Oh, yes! So that's what's going to happen, folks. I just want to tell you guys, we enjoy that you guys come and subscribe and listen and click the likes and whatnot. We just love to bring you guys hockey news. The fact that it's the playoffs, it's been driving us crazy nuts. I mean, it has been an awesome 2017 playoffs, as we previously have stated. Just the fact that, some of these teams just have held on to improbable wins. I'd honestly love to see a Canadian team win, and I think Nashville and Pittsburgh are going to meet in the finals. If it's not Pittsburgh, it's going to be New York, and I think Edmonton could do it, but I still think they're a year or so away from doing real damage in the playoffs. Not that they haven't, but since they're going to a Game 5, a best of 3 series now for them too. That is going to be fun to watch. That is going to be a battle, folks. You will not want to miss these games tonight on NBCSN or tomorrow on NBC. Let me check my schedule here to tell you what games are on NBC tomorrow. Oh, and will you have it? What do you have? Penguins and Capitals, 6:15 on NBC. Ooh-hoo-hoo. So everyone from Pittsburgh wants the closeout. All the Penguin fans want to be knocking out the Capitals. And then at 2 p.m. Central, you have the Rangers and Senators on NBCSN, May 6th. So, looks like there could be a couple series wrapped up these next couple days. By next week, we will be bringing you some coverage of the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. Thank you again, folks, for listening and tuning in. We are on the Blueline podcast. My partner, Chad Van Dersen, would love to say goodbye, but he's not here. I'm sorry about that. Hope you get better, Chad. For the listeners, thank you again. Thank you again for listening, and please click subscribe, like, anything you'd like on the video. Please leave us some comments. We always welcome some comments, questions. We'll even feature it on the podcast. Again, thank you. For myself, Phil Bernardi, and my partner, Chad Van Dersen, I'd just like to say thanks again. You tuned into the On the Blue Line Hockey Podcast, the playoff edition, Phil's playoff party. You know, we're having a great time here. Oh, yes, we are, Phil. Oh, man, that guy is out of control. So anyways, we just got to sign off. Thank you again. Please tune in next week when we have some more playoff edition conference finals in the NHL playoffs. Thank you, and good night.